On December 7, 1941, as the sun gilded Pearl Harbor's waters, a buried map beneath a Hawaiian church foretold the inferno. But the warnings slumbered in darkness. In 1940, a forgotten sketch of doom, etched with carrier strikes and ignored pleas, lay sealed like a prophet's curse. This is the chilling tale of Pearl Harbor's buried prophecy, the map that saw the dawn raid coming. Welcome to WW2's Shadow Echoes. Subscribe for more hidden harbingers of war. Hawaii, the Aloha State's emerald chain, 2,400 miles from the mainland, was America's Pacific Sentinel, a volcanic bastion of sugarcane fields and submarine pens, where ukuleles strummed against the tide of empire. In 1940, as Europe burned under Blitzkrieg's boot, Oahu slumbered in false idol. Honolulu's harbors brimmed with Matson liners disgorging khaki-clad tourists, while Pearl Harbor's battleship Roe, Ford Island's 8 gray behemoths, from USS Arizona to Oklahoma, rode at anchor like chained dragons. The U.S. Pacific Fleet, relocated from California by Admiral James Richardson's foresight, mustered 100 ships and 70,000 souls under husband E. Kimmel, a white-maned tactician with a poker face and a penchant for bridge. His counterpart, Lieutenant General Walter Short, commanded the Hawaiian Department, 30,000 troops scattered in cane barracks, their guns silenced for anti-sabotage drills amid fears of Nisei spies. But beneath the leis and luaus, tremors stirred. Japan's shadow lengthened like monsoon clouds. Tokyo's warlords, emboldened by Manchuria's rape and Nanking's fall, eyed the Dutch East Indies oil with predatory hunger. Ambassador Kichisaburo Nomura, a hawk in dove's feathers, charmed Washington salons while his consulate in Honolulu, a stucco lair on Nuuanu Avenue, buzzed with code clerks tapping away at purple machines, decrypts bound for Yamamoto's combined fleet. Enter the Coastwatchers, a loose fraternity of planters, missionaries, and Haiole eccentrics like Elizabeth Wily, a New Zealand nurse turned radio eavesdropper on Kauai's Napali cliffs. Wily's husband, a sugar baron, hosted Japanese fishing boats that weren't. Her shortwave snared fragments of IJN chatter, Kido Butai whispers of a carrier strike force. In May 40, Wily sketched her first map, a hand-inked overlay on tourist charts, arrows tracing midget subs and high-level bombers arcing from 200. "They're coming for the battleships," she wired to OP-20G in Washington, but the signal drowned in bureaucratic static. The map's architect was Lieutenant Commander Ralph Ofstie, a lanky Annapolis 27 grad with a draftsman's eye and a sailor's sixth sense. Stationed at the 14th Naval District HQ in a Fort Shafter bunker dubbed the Icebox for its humidity, Ofstie pored over magic intercepts, raw decrypts of Japan's diplomatic cipher revealing fleet maneuvers. In June 40, as the tripartite pact inked Axis Inc., Ofstie convened a war game, Blue, US, versus Orange, Japan, simulating a dawn raid on Battleship Roe. His chart, etched on linen-backed vellum with grease pencil arrows, pinpointed vulnerabilities. Ford Island's blind north approach, unguarded torpedo runs from 0500, dive bombers at 7,000 feet shredding P-40s on the tarmac. Pearl is naked from seaward, Ofstie warned Kimmel in a July memo, but the admiral, eyes on the Philippines, filed it under theoretical. Short, fixated on fifth columnists, dispersed his guns inland, radars mothballed like forgotten ukuleles. Ofstie's map, too hot for desks, found sanctuary under St. Andrew's Cathedral, a Gothic pile on Baratania Street, its crypt a OSS safehouse since 1939. Buried in a lead-lined reliquary with Bibles and morphine syrettes, the vellum rolled like a scroll of doom, guarded by Rector William Brady, a chaplain with a Luger from Bellow Wood. "The Lord buries prophets. May he resurrect this one," Brady murmured, sealing the altar slab with a mason's trowel. Warnings cascaded like monsoon rains, ignored in the drought of denial. In September, British codebreaker Eric Nave, exiled to Melbourne after Purple's crack, flagged a rising sun dispatch. "East wind rain, war signal for Pearl." Station Hypo in Pearl's basement, under Joe Rochefort's walrus mustache, decrypted it, but deemed it diplomatic fluff. Wily's Kauai vigils netted more. Japanese trawlers charting reef gaps, their hydrophones pinging subpens. Her October wire, Carrier Task Force shadowboxing north, strike window December. Washington, tangled in Stimson's "Don't Rock the Boat" cables, shunted it to routine. Ofstie's protege, Ensign Bill Outerbridge on Destroyer Ward, spotted a midget sub off Lanai November 30th. Depth charged it to splinters. But his report languished in Kimmel's inbox till 800 December 7th. Japanese spies like Takeo Yoshikawa, posing as a monk in the Moana Hotel, sketched torpedo arcs from his veranda. His sketches radioed to Nagumo's Akagi. The map, buried 20 feet under the cathedral's nave amid dusty pews and votive candles, pulsed with unheeded prophecy. Flight paths from 240 miles, 350 knot zeros at 3,000 feet. Kates dropping long lance fish at 50 knots. Short's radars, live for exercises but off for Sundays, slumbered. Kimmel's carriers, Enterprise, Lexington, were at sea, but his battleships, the fleet in being, bobbed unaware. As choir practice echoed above the crypt on December 6th, Brady lit a vigil candle, unaware the map below sketched apocalypse. Oahu's peace was a powder keg, the fuse buried in stone. November 1941. Oahu's trades wines carried salt and suspicion. Nomura's envoys, in kimonos crisp as rice paper, toured the harbors under guise of trade talks, their notebooks filling with azimuths and buoy positions. Yoshikawa, the Hawaiian Joe, from his Nuuanu perch, sketched submarine pens at submarine base Pearl, depths, gates, guard rotations, his codes Kido Kicho, express delivery, beaming to Tokyo via burst transmissions. Station Hypo's cryptos, hunched over IBM sorters in a vaulted basement reeking of mimeograph ink, unraveled the windup. East wind rain on November 19, a war whisper shunted to Hull's State Department as meteo chatter. Rochefort, cigar chomping through the haze, flagged it for Nimitz in Washington, but the CNO's desk, piled with Atlantic priorities, buried it under monitor. Wily's Kauai outpost, a thatched bungalow dubbed Bird's Nest amid guava groves, hummed with her Hallicrafter's S-36 receiver, its tubes glowing like fireflies in blackout. A schoolteacher by day, code cracker by night, she logged Japanese trawler pings, 18 vessels off Barber's Point, their sonars mapping torpedo lanes. Her November 25th dispatch, via Navy courier to Fort Shafter. IJN reconnaissance complete. Strike rehearsal north 200 miles. Ofstie, in his icebox warren amid teletype clatter, cross-referenced it on a duplicate map. His vellum twin, pinned to cork with thumbtacks, now webbed with red string linking magic snips to Wily's dots. "The arrow points to Sunday," he scrawled in margins. But Kimmel, hosting a bridge rubber at the wardroom, dismissed it as Jap fishing tales. Short, drilling his troops in cane fields for saboteur hunts, mothballed his SCR-270 radars. The world's first long-range sets, capable of spotting planes 150 miles out, for lack of manpower. One test, November 27th, Pinged a Bogue inbound from California. Operator private. Joseph Lockard logged it, but the phone line to Short's HQ rang unanswered. The report filed as routine. The buried map's guardian, Rector Brady, a Congregationalist with a Yale divinity degree and a Luger from the AEF, knew its weight. St. Andrew's, founded 1858 as a wooden kahuahui for missionaries, had crypts echoing with Kamehameha's converts. Now it sheltered OSS drops, gold eagles for saboteurs, morphine for coasties. Ofstie's vellum, rolled in oilskin and etched with grease pencil arcs. Betty bombers at 18,000 feet, Val's at 7,000, Kate's low for fish, was Brady's sacred charge. Buried September 15th under the altar slab, amid reliquaries of saints and shrapnel-scarred Bibles, it joined a cache. Wily's Kauai logs, a purple decryptor prototype, and a .45 for the Padre. "If the Japs come, this map's my Lazarus," Brady confided to his diary, the cathedral's bells tolling vespers above like unwitting alarms. Japanese eyes, however, pierced closer. Yoshikawa's monk guys masked midnight sketches from Moana's veranda, battleship silhouettes against the moon, wind gauges for torpedo drift. His November 29th cable, Pearl defenses lax, north approach blind. Tokyo's high command, in Nagumo's war room aboard Akagi, poured over replicas, Yamamoto's fan snapping like a guillotine. Pearl first, the sleeping giant stirs. Warnings multiplied like monsoon clouds. In Washington, Brigadier General Billy Mitchell's ghost haunted the War Department. His 1924 prophecy of Pearl's peril now a file in Stimson's safe. Station Hypo's bomb plot decrypts, November 20th to December 6th, detailed rehearsals. East wind rain confirmed war, but Hull's cable to Nomura, clarify or else. A blunder that tipped the Japs to U.S. suspicion. Wily's final wire, December 5th. 6 carriers shadowboxing 240 miles north. Dawn strike imminent. It reached Ofstie at 0200. His duplicate map inked with fresh arrows. Z755 AM, 350 planes, torpedo runs from west. He phoned Kimmel at quarters A. "Admiral, the map sings of Sunday." Kimmel, nursing a scotch after a late luau, grunted, "Stand down, it's exercises." Short's adjutant logged it as unsubstantiated. The crypt's map slumbered, its altar slab cold as the tomb. Yoshikawa's last sketch, December 6th. Arizona at F7, Oklahoma E8. Nagumo's armada, 6 carriers, 414 planes, steamed south. The map's prophecy buried while the arsenal slumbered. Radars dark, guns chained. The fleet toasted Saturday night specials. Unaware the church beneath Baratania held their requiem. December 7th, 0755. The first Kate torpedoed Oklahoma at F9. Long lance fish breaching her hull like a demon's kiss. Roll after roll as 6 slammed home. Zeros swarmed at treetop, 7.7mm tracers stitching P-40s on the line. Vals screamed down at 70 degrees, 550-pound bombs gutting hangars. The map's arrow struck true. North approach blind. 183 planes unchallenged till 8:10. Kimmel, in pajamas at his Pearl boathouse, heard the first crump. "God damn it, they're here." As West Virginia listed at F6, her magazines blooming orange. Short, at Fort Shafter, scrambled his guns too late. 2,403 dead in 90 minutes, 8 battleships crippled, 188 planes ash. The buried map, its ink dry as bone, wept in silence under Brady's altar. The rector scrambling to his basement radio amid pews splintered by stray .50 caliber. The twist unearthed at 900. Ensign Donald Kiefer, a crypt nerd from OP-20G's basement, unearthed a final magic intercept. Climb Mount Nyataka, decoded at 0700, but filed as routine. Panic wired to Washington. Stimson, in bed with a novel, spat his coffee. The map was right. Divers off Vestals hit the subwreck at 0815. Midget UN-24, rammed by Ward's 4 inchers at dawn. Her torpedoes spent, but hull stamped with the map's north shadow coordinates. Ofstie, in the icebox amid sparking consoles, unrolled his twin chart. Flight paths matching the hell to a T. Kate's low at 50 feet. Val's at 2,000 for the dry docks. The buried one knew. He rasped to aid, racing to St. Andrews through flaming streets, Padre Brady cracking the slab with a crowbar amid falling plaster. The vellum emerged, arrows accusing like fingers. Strike 0755, 350 planes, blind from north. Brady's hands trembled. God buried it. Man dug his grave. By noon, as Arizona's 1,177 souls slaked the harbor in oil-slick pyres, the map's curse spread. Roberts' commission grilled Kimmel and Short. Why the radars dark? Why the guns chained? But the altar's prophet lay folded in Ofstie's safe, its Hawaiian church guardian to scapegoats. Yoshikawa, fleeing to the Japanese consulate under truce flags, smirked at his sketches, mirrors of the buried truth. Nagumo, steaming home with one carrier scratched, toasted Yamamoto. The map they ignored was ours reborn. The reveal tallied the toll. 2,403 lives, 68 civilians. The map's ink, dry since June, now ran with the Navy's tears. Washington reeled. FDR's Day of Infamy speech at 12:10. The buried scroll, a silent indictment in classified vaults. The buried map's echoes ripple from St. Andrew's crypt to every pearl plaque today. Ofstie's vellum, declassified in '95, rests in the Bishop Museum beside Wily's logs, a testament to ignored prophets. Kimmel and Short, cashiered scapegoats, died in disgrace. Yamamoto's raid, map predicted, birthed Midway's revenge. In our drone-shadowed skies, the altar's lesson lingers. Charts buried in churches outlast complacency. What warning would you unearth? Comment your pearl ghost. Like if maps mesmerize, subscribe for more. Bell on. Next. Auto-cracked Enigma's alternate World War II end. Until the crypt calls. Listen close. This is WW2's Shadow Echoes.